Good morning students. இந்த முதல் வீடியோ பதிவு அதாவது வேதியியல் 12th ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் வேதியியல் கெமிஸ்ட்ரியில் முதல் பதிவில் நம்ம உலோகவியல் பற்றி பார்த்தோம். தட் இஸ் மெட்டலர்ஜி, உலோகங்களை பிரித்தெடுத்தலை பற்றி பார்த்துருந்தோம். அந்த வீடியோவினுடைய தொடர்ச்சியாக இரண்டாவது பதிவை இப்போ இந்த வீடியோவில் பதிவிடுறோம். அதாவது போன கிளாஸில் நான் சொல்லியிருந்தேன், இந்த பொருட்கள் ஸ்பேனர், நெயில், கீ, pan, screwdriver, pans, இதெல்லாம் எதால் ஆக்கப்பட்டது? These are all made up of metals, அதாவது உலோகம், metals. From where we are getting metals and how we are getting metal? So generally the metals are obtained from the compounds present in the nature. See, the naturally occurring compounds from which metal can be extracted by suitable method and profitable manner in the environmental friendly way is called mineral, or that is called metallurgy. You know what is metallurgy? Various techniques, various steps involved in the extraction of metals from the compounds in the environmental friendly method is called metallurgy. Generally the metals are present in the uncombined state, like gold, silver, platinum are present in the uncombined state. All other reactive metals are present in the form of compounds. So the substance which contain the uncombined form of metal or combined form of metal is called mineral. A metal can have more than one minerals. For example, iron has about 800 minerals, but we cannot extract the iron from all these minerals. We extract only from certain minerals. Those minerals are called ores. The mineral from which metal can be extracted by suitable method and profitable manner is called ores. This is what we discussed. There are so many ores. See, these are the different type of ores of gold, copper, pyrite. You see, different type of ores. And Indians, not only the Indians are very familiar in the field of metallurgy. Even the ancient people have a good idea about extraction of various metals from their ores. And you know, we are going to discuss about metallurgy, various techniques involved in the extraction of metals from its ore is called metallurgy. And you know very well, metals are occurs in the earth crust in the form of compounds or in the uncombined state. These are called mineral. The mineral from which metal can be extracted by suitable and profitable manner is called ores. Generally, if you look at this mineral and ore, see, all the ores are mineral, but all the minerals need not be a ores. This is what we discussed in the previous class. This extraction of metals has three steps. One, concentration of mineral, a concentration of ore, and then extraction of crude metal and refining of the crude metal. Okay, generally if you look at the ores, there are various type of ores. Ores may be in the form of oxides, sulfides, carbonates, silicates, halides, and many. So some examples are listed in the tabular column. So if you look at the zinc blend is a sulfide ore, zincite carbonate ore, calamine is a carbonate ore, zincite is an oxide ore. So a metal may exist in different forms in the form of carbonates, sulfide, oxides, silicates, and many different forms. So just look at here. What is concentration is the first step of the metallurgical process. What is concentration? Generally the ores extracted or ore taken from the mineral, that is the mining, will contain lot of impurities. You know what are the impurities? Like unwanted rocky earthy impurities, non-metallic impurities, metallic impurities. These are called gangue. You know what are gangue? Unwanted rocky earthy or siliceous materials are called gangue. So the removal of these impurities from the ore is called concentration, called ore enrichment, ore dressing. Okay, ore dressing. Generally the concentration of ore is carried out by different methods. It depends on nature of the ore, nature of the impurity. Okay, this is what we discussed in the previous class. There are various methods of concentration: gravity separation or hydraulic washing, froth flotation, leaching, solubility based extraction. Under the leaching we have cyanide process, ammonia leaching, alkali leaching, acid leaching, magnetic separation. The first two methods we already discussed in the first video, that is gravity separation. You know well, gravity separation is applicable only for heavy metal oxide ores like gold, tin stone, such kind of ores, heavy metal oxides. Generally the metal oxides are high specific gravity. When the powdered ore particle is poured over the running water or current flow of water, the heavier ore particles are settled at the bottom immediately, whereas lighter ore particles are washed away by the water. So you can separate this gangue and ore particle. That is called gravity separation. It's applicable only for oxide ores. Then what we discussed is froth flotation. The froth flotation is applicable only for sulfide ores. The crushed sulfide ore is poured over the water kept in iron tank and add little of pine oil, which is a froth producing agent. When a compressed air is passed, what will happen? The froth will come up, the lighter ore particle comes along with the froth, heavier gangue particles are settled at the bottom, and the froth is collected or skimmed off separately. Skimmed off, that means separated, and washed with water, you will get pure ore particle. So in this process we used to add two important things, what is called as a depressant. Depressant, you know what is a depressant? I told you, selective adsorption of ore, we are using depressant. Generally sodium cyanide, sodium carbonate are used as a depressant. Then stabilizing agent like sodium ethyl xanthate used as a stabilizing agent. This is what we discussed in the previous video. In the previous video we discussed the first two methods. In this video we will go for the next two methods. Leaching, solubility based. Actually what is that? The insoluble compounds present in the ore is converted into soluble form of the compounds or complex. So what will happen when you convert into soluble form of the compounds or complex compound? All the gangue particles are left undissolved, so you can filter it and remove the impurity. This technique is called leaching, that is solubility based extraction. Converting the compound, converting the ore or the metal into soluble compounds. All insoluble impurities are left of the container, you can separate it. It can be done by various ways like cyanide leaching, ammonia leaching, alkali leaching, acid leaching. Let us see one by one. You see. First one, cyanide leaching. You know what happened? This method is applicable for the concentration of gold and silver ores. See, the gold ore is mixed with sodium cyanide. It will form a soluble complex. All other gangue particle, rocky and siliceous materials left undissolved. If you look at this point, you see the concentrated gold ore, the concentration of gold ore, the crude gold ore is crushed and powdered well. It is mixed with a dilute solution of sodium cyanide. What will happen? It will form a complex, RO cyanide complex, which is soluble in water. All impurities, you know, the siliceous impurities are left undissolved. Say remaining aluminium, the gangue aluminosilicates or remains insoluble. So you can separate by filtration or by decantation, and from the soluble complex you can get back the metal by a process is called cementation. Just look at here. The gold can be recovered by reacting the deoxygenated leached solution with zinc. The complex is treated with the zinc. You will get another complex, tetracyanozincate 2 plus gold. So this method is called cementation. You remember what is the cementation? Recovery of metal from the soluble complex of gold is called cementation. So now you have pure gold, that is a crude metal. Next one, ammonia leaching. You know what is that ammonia leaching? You see metals like copper, nickel, cobalt, when it is treated with the aqueous ammonia solution, will form a soluble complex, All insoluble impurities are left in the container. The soluble complex are collected separately. Then on decomposition of complexes will get back the pure metal. You see, look at here, when crushed ore containing nickel, copper, cobalt is treated with aqueous ammonia under suitable pressure. Ammonia selective leaches the metals by forming a soluble complex. Like nickel will form NiNH3 6 times 2 plus, copper CuNH3 4 times 2 plus, cobalt CONH3 5 times H2O 3 plus respectively. And what happened? All the Gangu particle, iron oxides and hydroxides are left undissolved. So you can separate this pure metal. This technique is called ammonia leaching. Ammonia leaching. Another one, alkali leaching. That is, the ore is crushed and powdered well. It is treated with aqueous alkali, aqueous sodium hydroxide at a high pressure at the temperature range of about 470 to 520 Kelvin at about 35 atmospheric pressure. What will happen? It will form a soluble sodium meta-aluminate. Look at here. When aluminum or bauxite ore is treated with the sodium hydroxide, aqueous sodium hydroxide, you will get soluble meta-aluminate. All insoluble impurities left in the container. You can separate it by decantation. Then the sodium meta-aluminate is acidified. You know, the solution is neutralized by passing carbon dioxide. You will get Al2O3.XH2, a hydrated form of aluminum oxide. This is on heating around 1670 Kelvin. You will get anhydrous alumina, that is called pure aluminum oxide. So you know what is the basic concept in this? The insoluble compounds are converted into soluble compound, so that all rocky impurities, metallic impurities, all impurities, that is organic impurities, are left undissolved. You can separate it. Say one we discussed as cyanide process, another one is the ammonia process, alkali leaching. Then acid leaching. What is that acid leaching? Generally this is applicable for sulfide ores. Say ores like zinc blende, galena, treated with hot aqueous concentrated sulfuric acid. Hot aqueous concentrated sulfuric acid. For example, when zinc blende is treated with concentrated sulfuric acid, hot aqueous concentrated sulfuric acid with oxygen, you will get zinc sulfate plus sulfur plus water. So what happened? The soluble sulfates or sulfides are converted into soluble sulfates. All impurities are left in the container. Then you can separate it. This method is called acid leaching. So remember, the ores, the compounds of the metals are converted into soluble compound either by cyanide process, cyanide leaching, or by alkali leaching, or by ammonia leaching, or by acid leaching. This is one important method to purify the ore, to concentrate the ore. You know, what is the reason for concentration of the ore? To enhance the percentage of metal in the ore. That is, to improve the percentage of metal in the ore. So you can remove the impurities very easily. Then your extraction will be very easy. And then one more method. This is magnetic separation. You remember? What is this principle behind this? This is based on ore and impurity. Based on the difference in the magnetic property of ore and impurity, the ore can be purified. You see, the ore is crushed and powdered well. The crushed and powdered ore is poured over the very big conveyor belt, which is placed between the two wheels. Among these two wheels, one is a magnetic wheel and this is a non-magnetic wheel. The crushed and powdered ore is poured over the conveyor belt, which is rotating between the two wheels. This is a magnetic wheel. When the ore particles comes here, what will happen? Non-magnetic substances will fall away from the wheel, whereas magnetic substances will fall closest to the wheel, heap nearer the wheel. This method is called magnetic separation. So what is the principle behind this? Ore and impurity differ in magnetic properties, can be purified by this method. Say for example, if you take tin stone is separated from wolframite because wolframite has magnetic property. Tin stone is non-magnetic. Tin stone ore is mixed with wolframite. The wolframite has magnetic character. When you pour this powdered ore, tin stone ore on the conveyor belt, what will happen? The wolframite being magnetic, it get attracted by the magnetic wheel, it will fall closest to the wheel. Non-magnetic tin stone will fall away from the wheel. Similarly, chromite and pyrite. chromite and pyrolusite. Chromite and pyrolusite, these two are magnetic in nature, whereas the siliceous impurities are non-magnetic. When you pour this powdered ore on the conveyor belt, what will happen? The chromite and pyrolusites are attracted by the magnetic wheel, it will fall closest to the wheel, whereas the siliceous materials fall away from the wheel. This method is called magnetic separation, or we can call it as electromagnetic separation. So you just remember, this is based on the principle that ore and impurity differ in the magnetic properties. So remember students, we can concentrate the ore, we can increase the percentage of the ore, metal in the ore by a process is called concentration, ore dressing or ore enrichment. This can be done either by gravity separation, froth flotation or leaching, chemical leaching, or by magnetic separation. Depending upon the nature of the ore and nature of impurity, you can choose any one of this method. Okay, so you know well, the extraction of metal carries three important steps. You know what are the three important steps? Concentration of the ore, extraction of crude metal, and refining of crude metal. So we have completed the first step, concentration of the ore, either by using gravity separation or hydraulic washing, froth flotation, chemical leaching, magnetic separation. You have to purify the ore, that is you should increase the percentage of the metal in the ore. Then the next step is very important, extraction of crude metal, extraction of crude metal. So just look at here, extraction of crude metal. It can be done by two ways. One, first the metal of your interest, the metal which you are going to extract is converted into in the form of oxides. Why should we convert the metal into the oxide? Why can't we extract the metal from all other compounds? Because you remember, it is very easy to reduce the metal oxide into metal than the other compounds. That is why the compounds of metals are converted into metal oxide. Compounds of metals are converted into metal oxide, because you remember, according to thermodynamic principles, it is easy to reduce the metal oxide into metal than the reduction of other compound, because the free energy of formation of metal oxides are less negative. Free energy of formation of metal oxides are negative value, whereas other compounds will have a less negative. So that is why it is easy to reduce the metal oxides compared to other compounds. That is why we are going to convert the compounds of metals or ores into metal oxide. This can be done in two ways. One is called roasting, another one is called calcination. You just look at here. Roasting and calcination are the two important ways you can convert the compounds of metal into oxides of metal, so that we can easily reduce the metal oxide into metal. Roasting. What is roasting? The concentrated ore is heated with the excess of oxygen in a reverberative furnace. Heated with the excess of oxygen, what will happen? The sulfide ores, generally the sulfide ores are converted into oxide ores, and sulfur dioxide is escapes in the form of sulfur gas. Not only that, during the roasting, moisture gets removed, ore become porous, and impurities such as arsenic, phosphorus, antimony escapes in the form of oxides. You remember what is roasting? Heating the ore with excess of oxygen is called roasting. The concentrated ore is heated with the excess of oxygen at high temperature in a reverberatory furnace. You will get metal oxides, respective metal oxide. During the process, the sulfur dioxide escapes as a gas. The sulfur dioxide can be used. It's collected separately, it is converted into sulfuric acid. That's another advantage. And you remember, during the roasting, impurities such as sulfur, arsenic, phosphorus, antimony escapes in the form of oxides. Look at this example. You see, galena, when heated with oxygen, PbO plus SO2. Lead sulfide or zinc sulfide, that is zinc blend, heated with oxygen, zinc oxide plus sulfur dioxide. Cuprous sulfide, or what you can say copper glans, heated with oxygen, you will get cuprous oxide and sulfur dioxide. The sulfur dioxide is a pollutant gas. But what we can do, we can collect it separately. You can convert the sulfur dioxide into sulfur trioxide, then it can be converted into sulfuric acid. There is another advantage, the byproducts can be converted to another useful compound. So during the roasting process, I told you, moisture gets removed, ore become porous, and impurities such as arsenic, phosphorus, sulfur escapes in the form of their oxides. Okay. So first thing, you should convert the compounds of metals, that is ore, into respective metal oxide. This can be done by two ways. One by roasting, another one calcination. Roasting, I will explain. The concentrated ore is heated with the excess of oxygen at high temperature in a reverberatory furnace. You will get respective metal oxide, and sulfur dioxide is formed as a byproduct which can be converted into sulfuric acid. Another method, calcination. What is calcination? Heating the ore with excess of heating the ore in the absence of oxygen is called calcination, especially for carbonate ores. Calcination is heating the ore in the absence of oxygen is called calcination, especially carbonate ores. Hydrated form of oxide ores are heated in the absence of oxygen, you will get oxide ores. You just look at the example. Lead carbonate, PbCO3 on heating gives PbO plus CO2. Calcium limestone on heating gives CaO plus CO2. Calamine, ZnCO3 on heating ZnO plus CO2. Say magnesium dolomite, MgCO3, CaCO3 on heating gives MgO, CaO plus 2 CO2. Not only for carbonate, even certain hydrated form of oxide ores like Fe2O3.3H2 on heating, anhydrous Fe2O3. So Al2O3.2H2O heating gives Al2O3 plus 2H2O. So the calcination, what is calcination? Heating the ore in the absence of oxygen is called calcination. During this process of calcination, carbonate ores are converted into oxide ores, and the hydrated form of oxide ores becomes anhydrous. Okay. Any organic impurities or that escapes out. So remember, either by using roasting or by using calcination, you can convert the compounds or ore into metal oxide. I told you, why should you convert into metal oxide? According to thermodynamic principles, it is easy to reduce the metal oxide into metal. In compounds of metal, metal is in positive oxidation state. So you have to reduce this metal oxide into metal. So because why it's easy to reduce the metal oxide into metal, because the free energy of formation of metal oxide is more negative free energy of formation. So it is easy to reduce the metal oxide compared to other compounds. That is why we are converting the compounds of ore into metal oxide, either by using roasting or by using calcination. Okay. Then the next step, reduction of metal oxide into metal. So you remember, students, first we are concentrating the ore, then extraction of crude metal. Extraction of crude metal has two steps. One, we are converting the metal or ore into metal oxide. Then the next step, metal oxide is reduced into metal. What is the important thing? You cannot reduce all the metal by using one reducing agent. Different metal oxides can be reduced in different way. That depends upon the reactivity of the metal. Say for example, more reactive metals can be reduced by electrolytic reduction. Moderate reactive metals can be reduced by carbon monoxide or other active metals. Less reactive metals can be reduced by heating, that is called thermal reduction or auto reduction. So you remember, reduction of metal oxide into metal is not common for all the metal oxides. It depends upon the reactivity of the metal. Different metal oxides can be reduced into metal by using different reducing agent. Let's see some examples. You see, smelting. Say for example, iron oxide and copper oxide can be reduced by using smelting. What happened here during the smelting? The concentrated ore, that is concentrated oxide ore, is mixed with flux What is a flux? Flux is a substance which convert the insoluble impurities, which convert the impurities, Gangu particle, into infusible impurities. Infusible impurities. So the ore is concentrated, ore is mixed with the flux, and then a reducing agent such as coke. So what happened? The iron, you see in this method, a flux chemical substance that form easily fusible slag with the Gangu. And reducing agents such as carbon, carbon monoxide, aluminum, any metal that depends upon the metal oxide added to concentrated ore. The mixture is melted by heating in elevated temperature, high temperature. Generally it is carried out in blast furnace. Okay, so iron oxide is treated with the carbon monoxide, it reduced into iron and carbon dioxide. And what happened during this process? We are adding limestone as a flux. The limestone decomposes to form CaO. That CaO reacts with the SiO2, what is called Gangu, siliceous material, will form calcium silicate slag, fusible slag. It floats on the molten form of the metal, you can separate it. This method is called smelting. You see one more example, extraction of copper. Copper is extracted from copper pyrite. When you heat it with oxygen first, you will get iron sulfide, cuprous sulfide and sulfur dioxide. This iron sulfide is oxidized to form iron oxide, and the iron oxide, as soon as it is formed, it reacts with the silica SiO2. Here the silica acts as the silica that will form a product is called slag, FeSiO3. So this is how you can reduce the metal oxide into metal, and also you can remove the Gangu particle in the form of slag. This technique by adding catalyst like carbon, carbon monoxide, alumina. This method is called smelting. And I told you different methods should be used for different metal oxides. Say for example, here the cuprous oxide formed is further oxidized to form cuprous sulfide, is further oxidized to form cuprous oxide. The cuprous oxide will reduces the rest of the cuprous sulfide into copper and sulfur dioxide. That's a smelting process. Then you see reduction by using carbon. Reduction by using, here carbon acts as a reducing agent. Generally you see metals like zinc, manganese, chromium can be reduced by using carbon. See, remember, in this method oxide ore of metal is mixed with coal, that is coke, pure form of carbon, strongly heated in a blast furnace. Say zinc oxide is heated with carbon, zinc plus carbon monoxide. Mn3O4 heated with the carbon, manganese. Chromic oxide is heated with the carbon, you will get chromium. This method is reduction by using carbon. Another one, you see, reduction by using hydrogen. Less reactive metals like silver oxide. Say Ag2O is treated with the hydrogen, you will get silver. Fe3O4 is heated with hydrogen, you will get Fe. Not only with the hydrogen, even you can use water gas. You know what is water gas? Mixture of carbon monoxide and hydrogen. Nickel oxide is reduced by using water gas, carbon monoxide and hydrogen. You will get nickel plus carbon dioxide plus water. So you remember, we can reduce it by smelting, or by using carbon, or by using hydrogen, or even you can reduce it by using another metal. So generally more reactive metal will reduce as the less reactive metal oxides. See, look at here. Metal oxides such as chromic oxide can be reduced by using aluminium. Now how you can do it? Take a chromic oxide, aluminium powder in the ratio of 3:1, and it is taken in a fire clay crucible, and the reduction process is initiated by mixture of barium peroxide and magnesium powder. What is the role of magnesium powder? It's an igniter, quickly it catches a fire. Barium peroxide is a mild explosive which provides enough temperature for the reaction to start. Once the reaction is started, the reduction process is started, the reaction itself is exothermic. The heat produced during the reaction is sufficiently enough to reduce the rest of the chromic oxide into chromium. So you can reduce this metal oxide chromium into chromium by aluminium. That is called aluminothermic process. You see, when the chromic oxide is heated with the aluminium powder along with the barium peroxide and magnesium powder. What is the role of magnesium powder here? It's the igniter. Quickly it catches the fire. Barium peroxide is a mild explosive which gives enough temperature for the reactions to begin. Once the reaction is started, it will produce about 2400 degrees Celsius of heat. That is 852 kilojoules of heat is given out. So this 8 is sufficiently enough to reduce the rest of the metal oxide into metal. So this method is called reduction by using metal. Say like this, boron oxide is reduced into boron using sodium, rubidium oxide is reduced into rubidium using magnesium, titanium oxide is reduced by using magnesium, thorium oxide is reduced using calcium. So reduction by using metal. Then auto reduction, certain less reactive metals like mercury, certain less reactive metals on heated strongly, it reduces into respective metal. This is called auto reduction, or what you can call it as thermal reduction. Say, look at this ore of mercury is cinnabar, HGS. It's also called as red sulfide. Cinnabar is also called as red sulfide. When it is heated with oxygen, high temperature about 570 Kelvin, first it will form magnesium oxide, mercuric oxide, HgO plus sulfur dioxide. When you heat it again at high temperature above 570 Kelvin, mercuric oxide is reduced into mercury. That process is called auto reduction. So you remember, students, first you convert the compounds of metal into oxides. How can you convert? You can convert either by using roasting or by using calcination. In the case of sulfide ores are converted to oxide ores by roasting. Carbonate ore and hydrated oxide ores are converted into oxide ores by calcination. After converting into metal oxide, you can reduce the metal oxide into metal. You cannot use one reducing agent for all the metals. Depending upon the nature of the metal, we use different reducing agent. See, more reactive metals can be reduced by electrolytic reduction. Moderate reactive metals can be reduced by using carbon monoxide or some other metals. Or less reactive metals can be reduced even by heating. So different reducing agent, different methods can be used to reduce the metal oxide into metal. We have discussed smelting, reduction by using metal, reduction by using carbon, reduction by using hydrogen, reduction by using water gas. At last we discussed thermal reduction, or you can call it as auto reduction. So you remember, there are three important steps involved in the extraction of metal. Step 1, concentration of the ore. First you have to choose the correct ore, the ore which contain more amount of metal, high percentage of metal. The next step, concentration of the ore. Why we are doing the concentration? To increase the percentage of metal. After this concentration, you can use any one of those concentration method: froth flotation, gravity separation, magnetic separation, chemical leaching. Using any one of the method, you can concentrate. After the concentration, the ore is converted into oxides, that is extraction of crude metal. See, the conversion of ore into oxide is done by two ways: roasting or calcination. Generally, sulfide ores are converted into oxide ore by roasting. Then carbonate ores and hydrated form of oxide ores are converted into anhydrous oxides by using calcination. After calcination, the oxides of metal is reduced into metal by using different reducing agent. You can reduce it by using smelting, or by using reduction by using carbon monoxide, or by using metals like aluminium, or you can reduction is carried out by using hydrogen, water gas, or you can also reduce it by using thermal reduction, that is just by heating, that is also called as auto reduction. So now we have prepared crude metal. Understand? We have converted, first we concentrated the ore, then we converted the ore into crude metal. In the next video, we'll see how to purify the crude metal. That is called purification of crude metal or refining of crude metal. That we'll see in the next video. Okay, students, you see, watch the channel and subscribe and like it. Thank you.